YouTube, what's going on? It's Rob with SOS Fragrance Reviews, back with another video. Today we're going to be focusing on the note of leather. Stay tuned. All right, I've got two honorable mentions with the fragrances that I want to suggest for you guys. The first is a 2013 release. It's from the house of YSL. This is Homme Parfum Intense. I remember when the fragrance dropped, this was not a fragrance that was met with open arms. A lot of people were disappointed in this fragrance because I think they were looking for something for La Nuit de l'Homme. They wanted something more intense. They wanted a parfum from that particular fragrance, but they put this one out instead. I think it is a solid fragrance. I've always thought it was a solid fragrance, but I know it was met with very, very mixed reviews. I don't know what people say about it now, but I do remember how people in Fragcom felt when it first dropped. I remember the first time I smelled it in public. I was at a Nordstrom and two young ladies were in front of me. One young lady said that the fragrance was the money shot. The other lady said that if her guy was wearing this fragrance, it would be on. So it's a fragrance that I think female public, they like the fragrance, but people that are hardcore within Fragcom, the reviews are mixed. But this is a fragrance that's got a really nice suede accord. It's kind of got some of the DNA of the original, but it's been modified. All right, so this is the perfumer, and these are the notes for this particular fragrance. Perfumer is Anne Filippo and Dominique Ropion. The top notes for the fragrance are lemon, black pepper, bergamot. Mid is orange blossom, artemisia, and violet leaf. And in the base, you've got ambergris, woody notes, benzoin, leather, suede, and cedar. It's got a beautiful, to me, suede note that kind of goes throughout the life of the fragrance. Of course, you get that ginger, that kind of fresh top that Homme is known for, but they darkened it and they sweetened it. They've got with that benzoin and with the vanilla. It's got a slightly smoky tinge to it, but it's very slight. It's just darker, and I think it's a great fragrance for evenings, for dates. One that you can cop for like 75 to like 90 bucks currently. It's one worth checking out, and it's definitely, an honorable mention in my group of fragrances. So I definitely wanted to suggest this and put this on radar for some folks that may have missed it, or if you just don't know anything about the fragrance, here's your opportunity to check it out. All right, so again, from the house of YSL, Homme Parfum Intense. Second honorable mention from the house of Giorgio Armani. This is Armani Code Absolute. This is a 2019 release. This one is really in line with what's currently on trend in men's fragrance. This is, I don't want to say it's a clubbing fragrance, but it's definitely kind of in that vein. It's a bigger fragrance, a little bit louder, one that will kind of help you to become noticed or get noticed in the crowd. It's got that vanilla tonka thing going on that's so popular, but this one has got a really nice suede accord that goes throughout the fragrance, and it's got a really nice kind of fizzy, sparkly opening. Really nice fragrance. Price point is like 50 to 90. I mean, you can catch deals. I've seen it, kind of all over, but that's usually the range where I see it at. Notes on the fragrance are as follows. Top note, green mandarin, apple. Mid, nutmeg, orange blossom, carrot seed. Base, vanilla, tonka, suede, woody notes. This is a nice designer release and one you should check out. That's got a nice suede accord in it or note in it. So here you go again, Armani Code Absolute. So now we're gonna get into the fragrances that I'm suggesting. First up, from the house of Tiziana Terenzi, this is Spirito Florentino. Amazing presentation, great bottle, great top. This is just a big fragrance to get you noticed. Baccarat Rouge 540 is one of the most popular fragrances right now, and this is, I think, a play on that, but it takes that burnt sugar accord, and it kind of tweaks it and adds this nice leather or suede to it that kind of takes it into more masculine territory. It's got some saffron in the opening. Really well done. Powerhouse fragrance. Definitely a head turner. One you should check out. The notes are as follows. In the top, you've got saffron, orange, and jasmine. In the mid, you've got ambergris, ylang ylang, lily of the valley, magnolia. In the base, you've got leather, birch, oak moss, musk, and sandalwood. Price point on this one is like $130 to about $210. So if you keep your eyes open and really check out the different gray market sites, you can catch this one at a really great price. Definitely want to check out if you want one that's got a nice leather accord in it. This one is highly recommended by me. From the house of Tiziani Terenzi, Spirito Florentino. Really nice release from 2014 from the house of Davidoff, and this is not Cool Water. This is Leather Blend. For those that have never got the opportunity to check out any of the blend fragrances from Davidoff, really nice releases, really well done. When they were out, when they first came out, you can cop those between like 50 to 90 bucks. Now it's a little bit more pricey, but you can still cop them at a reasonable price. I suggest checking on eBay for these fragrances. This one is really well done. It's got a really nice leather, almost more of suede accord to me. Kind of has like an amber feel to it. Just nice, solid performance. It's not beast mode, but it's not quite subtle. It's kind of right in the middle. Masculine, classy, really nice. The notes are as follows. You've got saffron and pepper in the top. In the mid, you've got amber and rose. In the base, you've got leather and papyrus. So, hey, I recommend this one. I've been recommending this one since I first started my channel. If you've never checked this one out, this is a really nice leather blend fragrance from Davidoff that you can cop at an affordable price, and I think it's worth the money you would pay for it. Okay, again, from the house of Davidoff, Leather Blend. 2010 release, and I hate to do it, but I've got to do it, from the house of Van Cleef and Arpels, Midnight in Paris. EDT, EDP. Fragrance is no longer in production, but you can still track it down. I won't get into price because prices are ridiculous, so this is kind of going to be for the collector or the one that just likes to hunt for fragrances and keep your eyes peeled for like that great deal. You know, if you can get a great deal on the fragrance, I say go ahead and do it. Like normal prices on eBay right now, I wouldn't pay that much. But if you can find somebody selling it that's going to give you a great deal, pull the trigger. But I really like this one. This is a, what can I say? This is a kind of a powdery suede fragrance with a little bit of spice. It's got tea in it that kind of gives it like this calm feel. But when the fragrance was out, you can cop this one between 20 and 30 bucks. Now the price is ridiculous, but you can cop these fragrances anywhere for 20 to 30. I prefer the EDP over the EDT, but they're both nice. EDP is a little darker, deeper, a little richer. Performance is kind of about the same. I know it's going to be harder to find the EDP than the EDT. The EDP came out after the EDT did. The notes are as follows. Top notes are leather, bergamot, lemon, rosemary. Mid is tea, styrax, lily of the valley. Base, tonka bean, incense, benzoin, almond, amber. This is a nice one. You gotta like powdery fragrances though. The powderiness stands out in addition to the leather. You get a little bit of the incense from the base, kind of some of the amber. You get a little of the sweetness from the tonka, but it is a really nice one. I don't know why they didn't, well, I know why they didn't keep selling it, because it was selling too cheaply. I don't think they were probably making money off of it, but for those that like to collect fragrances, this was a gem. This was one you can get at a great price, and you know, a lot of people copped it back in the day. Check it out if you get the opportunity, from the house of Van Cleef and Arpels, Midnight in Paris. considered to be one of the best designer releases within the last 10 years. It's from the house of Dior. This is Dior Homme Parfum. Wow. 2014 release. What can I say about the fragrance that's not already been said? Fragrance, for the most part, is well received by the majority of folks in Fragcom. You do have, the handful of people that don't like it, but for the most part, most people really enjoy the fragrance. It's really well done. It smells classy. It's smooth, luxurious, deep, rich. The leather note with that, powdery iris is just perfect. Price point now, I can't say for certain. This is the older bottle. I know they've changed up the new bottle, and I think they may have tweaked the fragrance a little bit. Don't quote me, but I've been seeing people talk about the new Dior Homme Intense, and I think there's a new Parfum, but I'm not positive, and I haven't really smelled the new reformulations to know what the differences are. But if you can cop this one, this is definitely one to try to track down. I know when I got it for like 90 bucks, 85 to 100, somewhere in that range is what I paid. Not certain exactly what it's going for now. It was always one of the fragrances that were a little harder to find, especially in the States. This is definitely one that if you are thinking about adding a leather fragrance to your collection, you definitely want to try to check for it. The notes on this fragrance are as follows. On top, you've got Tuscan Iris, Italian Orange. In the mid, you've got Leather and Rose. In the base, you've got Sandalwood, Ambrette, Oud, and Cedar. You get the Ambrette for sure. You don't really get much Oud. You get some Rose. The Rose, for those that don't like Rose, don't be alarmed. The Rose is just an accent. It's not in the front at all. But if you really take your time and smell this fragrance, you can catch that Rose, but it's a supporting note. It's not a star note at all. The leather and the iris are the stars of this fragrance. Definitely want to check out. Kind of hard to get in the States, but you can definitely cop this one. Price point currently, not really certain. I think maybe low hundreds, but it's worth it. It's worth it. From the house of Dior, Dior Homme Parfum. A 2012 release from the house of Matriarch. This is Black No. 1. I've had this fragrance for quite some years, and I got it half price. I can't remember the exact price I paid. I want to say it was probably between like $150 to $180. I think the fragrance full price is like between $325 to like $345, somewhere in that range. And I'm speaking strictly from memory. When I first got the fragrance, I thought this is one of the best smelling leather fragrances I ever smelled, straight up. The longer I've had the fragrance and the more it's macerated while it's been in my collection, it's kind of taken on more of a green feel than just straight leather. So with that said, I don't know if it's going to be as mass appealing as some of the other fragrances I've suggested. It's a really well done leather fragrance, and I think it smells amazing. However, again, I know not everybody is fans of green fragrances. So let me go through the notes just so you can kind of see like the makeup of the fragrance, so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Like the notes are as follows: leather, fur, pine tree, oud, cannabis, seaweed. A lot of green notes there. When I first got it, it was just strictly expensive, exotic car leather interior. That's what I felt like I was smelling. Now I'm smelling the leather, but the green notes have also kind of come to the front. So it's this nice little, it's got more depth now. Still really well done, and one that's worth checking out. You can definitely get a sample of this one. I know the House of Matriarch does sell the small, like 2 ml sample bottle, so you can definitely sample before you try to buy it. And it's one I'm recommending or suggesting for you guys. It's Black No. 1 from the House of Matriarch. Lastly, 2017 release from the house of Bottega Veneta. This is Pour Homme Parfum. This is one that people do not talk about enough, and I really believe it is a star. I think it should be getting way more love in Fragcom. People do talk about it. They do say they like it, but I feel like it should be more widespread in regard to people, acknowledging how good this fragrance is. It is a little green, but leather is the primary player, and it's got this depth to it, and it smells really refined, and it smells expensive. Well done fragrance. Notes on this fragrance are as follows: cardamom, cedar, fir resin, pimento, leather, tonka bean, labdanum. You can cop the 1.7 for about 70 bucks and the 3.4 is about 90 bucks. It's harder to find a 3.4 than it is the 1.7. I definitely want the 3.4 for my collection because I think it's that good of a fragrance and I want to have a backup on this one. If you've never gotten your nose on it, please do yourself a favor. Try to check this one out. I think it suits anybody who's 30 and up perfectly. I don't want to say mature, but it's got like this polished feel. I think it stands out. Check it out. Bottega Veneta Pour Homme Parfum. Those are my fragrances, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I know this is nothing that you haven't heard about before, but I'm hoping that I'm just putting these on your radar or maybe making you, oh, you know what, I forgot about that one. Let me try to check this one out. Putting it back on your radar, okay? So thank you so much for coming back and checking the video. I thank you so much. Until next time, take care. Peace.